Electricast.
If fashion is your thing, eBay is it. eBay's where I find all my favorites, from handbags to iconic streetwear, all authenticated. For real. This time, a little Supreme, some Gucci. I even have that vintage Prada on my watch list. That's why eBay's my go-to for all my go-tos. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay. Things people love.
There's a change happening in the way we live, the way we work, the way we spend our money and make our decisions. We are evolving to be more conscious in our actions in a way that serves the world and makes it a better place. Welcome to the Ethical Evolution. The Ethical Evolution podcast is brought to you by Ethical Change Agency. I'm Bindi, I'm the founder, and my mission is to help ethical entrepreneurs and holistic healers to find their voice through spiritual coaching and podcasting. I'm honoured to bring you the stories of those who create change through healing, kindness, innovation, purpose, and spirit. Understanding that to create collective change, we need to be the change. It all begins with us. Hey, before we get into this episode, I just wanted to let you know that you can now grab my album of guided meditations. It's called Sourced by Spirit, and it's on all streaming platforms, including Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Tidal, YouTube Music, and many more. There's 11 guided meditations ranging from 4 minutes through to 10 minutes to help you reset your mind and your body at any time. Okay, now let's get on with the show. With her current role as Pearl on ABC's General Hospital, Paige mimics her actual QVC guest host expertise, captivating and selling products to TV audiences through innovative consumer advertising. Andy's extensive work on NBC's Emmy-winning Starting Over, TLC's 10 Years Younger, Style Network's How Do I Look, SoapNet's Soap Talk, and countless local network style segments have made Andy the charming and sassy go-to gal for red carpet style and courageous image help. Andy worked her budget fashion magic on the ultimate high roller stage as she transformed cast members with hair, makeup, and wardrobe on NBC's Celebrity Apprentice, proving her theory: you don't have to spend a fortune to look like a million. Join us to find out the secrets and the lessons Andy has to share from in front of the camera, beauty tips on a budget, and tons of laughs and southern charm. Welcome, Andy, to the Ethical Evolution.
I am so very happy to be with you, Bindi. And you should know that, like, Bindi's one of my favorite names. I think it's so charming.
Oh, thank you so much. Now, for those people who have literally been living under a rock and don't know who you are, can you go ahead and tell us who you are and what you do?
Bindi, that is way too kind. I mean, if there was like a D list for celebrities, I'd be on like the RST list. That's very kind. So I currently am so fortunate. I play the role of Pearl on ABC's General Hospital in America. And it is the longest running show in television history, which is amazing. I can't believe that I'm a part of it. And to be honest with you, Bindi, this is my very first acting job. I have done lots of television, hundreds and hundreds of episodes of television. Many of your listeners or viewers might know me as, kind of a makeover guru in the early 2000s when there was a lot of makeover television. So, I did 3 years of an Emmy-winning show called Starting Over. I did hundreds of makeovers on that show. I had my own show on A&E called Sense of Style. I did a lot for 10 Years Younger. I did that for a season or two. I did a lot of episodes of all kinds of things. How do I look and just a little bit of all that. But I've also maintained a presence on American radio. So I'm in, hundreds of markets every week with style tips, and I have a best-selling book called Style on a Shoestring. And I'm currently a QVC host, but so some of your viewers might know me from QVC. I think QVC is different though, where you are, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah, very different down here. But I have seen it in the States, and I know how popular it is. And wow, you do it all. You're like the Swiss Army knife of beauty, if I can put it that way. But let's start with General Hospital. Now, you might not know it, Andy, but I turned 50 next year, and
you look terrific, Bindi.
Well, thank you.
So young.
Thank you so much. But I grew up watching General Hospital with my grandmother, so I can relate to the whole soap opera kind of stuff. Can you just tell us how you got into that and what the experience has been like for you? Like, we watch it every day on TV, but what's it like being in front of the camera?
Bindi, I am so excited that you watched this with your grandmother, because the truth is that's actually how I came to enjoy the show. I watched it with my great grandmother in the 70s. Yeah, and welcome to your 50s. It is the best. Don't be afraid. We're only halfway there, girl. So, how it came to be perfectly honest, is because I was so fortunate to do so much reality television in the early 2000s. Like I said, on all of those shows, there were dozens of producers, dozens. And I'm so very grateful that, I left somewhat of a lasting impression on many of them, which is wonderful. And so those producers have all gone on to do other shows. And two of the producers that I used to work with years ago, like 20 years ago, had seen on LinkedIn that I am currently a guest host on QVC. And the role that I play on General Hospital is that of a home shopping host. So they needed someone that, that fit the part, because I'm sure you probably know, my guest host is Morgan Fairchild.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. No pressure.
No.
Right? No pressure. So they needed someone who could be her opposite. And, I've got darker hair and I'm a little younger and I've got darker skin. And, so my features and her features, and I'm a little taller and she's a little shorter. And, so we were a good match. And they reached out to me and said, I know this is crazy. Literally on a Thursday, I haven't talked to these, two beautiful people in over 20 years. I'm like, of course I remember you. How's your mama? The whole thing. And within 3 days, I had the job.
Wow.
And I'm really excited about that. And I want to tell you so much more about General Hospital. But what I am most excited about is actually this experiment that we are engaged in. Because, Bindi, I think if it works, it's going to change the way that we all watch television.
And what's that?
Yeah. So if you've been watching the show for a long time, there is a reason that it's called a soap opera.
Yeah.
And that is because, soap pays for it. We all think that television is free, but it's kind of not. Television is not free. So as, viewing habits have changed and more of us are streaming television, it has really affected ad revenue. And it's ultimately affected the revenue of the show in general, and we want to keep this show on the air. So people have started to think a little more creatively in how they can ultimately, maintain a legacy show like this. Again, 61 years it's been on air. And so someone had the genius idea of creating the Home and Heart segment, and with the intent that they were going to bring Deception Beauty to life. And Bindi, as you know, Deception Beauty has been a storyline for more than 20 years. And it's this amazing, these beautiful women who create amazing products. And the fans have been able to watch a lot of the development of a lot of products like the Deceptor, red light therapy wand, and, the Deceiver serums, and, all of these things. And so the idea was that when products were licensed and approved and ready for launch, they would be brought to Home and Heart. Morgan or Haven and I would pitch it, and then we would send people to shophomeandheart.com so that they could then consume all of the products that they had come to know, and then other things like items that the characters wear, jewelry, handbags, things that you see on set. And so when this was pitched to me, Bindi, they said to me, what if you could have bought Fonzie's jacket?
Whoa.
right? Or what if you could have known and purchased the hair care products of like Phoebe, Rachel and Monica, right? So the thought is that what is going to happen to television is that at the inception of almost every television show now, there's going to be, some sort of website that's linked to it, and the entire show, everything that you see on the walls, everything that they wear, is going to be a consumable that you can then support the show in a different way and, purchase things, which I think is genius, because I was obsessed with this one poster on the wall in Sex and the City. So Carrie had this love poster in like season 7 when she, changed everything in her old apartment. And I wanted that so bad, and I could never figure it out. So I really love the idea of being able to support my favorite shows, being able to wear the things that my favorite characters wear, and honestly, being able to, be a part of the show and consume it in a different way.
I love that. That is such a cool concept. And yeah, there's so many things that we watch on TV that we go, oh man, I really love that bag, or I really love that chair, or whatever it might be. And you're like, so you then get on Google and you're trying to find it. I know they have image search stuff now, but this is a whole other level. Like, this is incredible.
Yeah,
so cool.
I think it is. And I do think it's going to change television, because especially network television, because like I said, soap operas are called soap operas for a reason. So I do think that it's really fun to be at the genesis of this. And if this experiment works, it will be, very, very rewarding. So right now, again, those things come to Home and Heart, which is the fictitious shopping network on General Hospital. And then you can go to shophomeandheart.com to see all of those products and, to basically shop the show.
Now, in the last 6 years on this show, we've had numerous Hollywood actresses. We've even had people from Days of Our Lives. But I wonder if we can reach the Holy Trinity. If we get General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, and maybe Bold and the Beautiful, like, imagine what would happen. Anyway, getting back to Hollywood, what would you say has been your biggest lesson? Like, you're in so many different media outlets at the moment, and you're doing so many things with TV, radio, and all kinds of stuff. In your years, what would you say has been the biggest lesson you've learned in front of the camera?
In front of the camera. Okay. So, because I had an answer ready for behind the camera, and then you like spun it on me.
Either or.
Yeah, I love it. So in front of the camera. So I can tell you, so I studied to be a sportscaster. So that was my original goal. I really wanted to be like an Andrea Joyce or a Willow Bay. I really wanted to be a sportscaster that, was able to go to the games. And in my mind, I thought that if I could be involved in sports in some way, I'd be such a hero to my family, because my family loved, college football and all that. And so that was my original goal. And when you're studying to be a broadcaster, they literally spent like 5 years trying to beat the accent out of me. I come from a very small town in Alabama. And so I worked very hard to lose my accent. I worked very hard to be, this calming presence, and to be kind of the voice of reason, and someone you could trust, and someone you could depend on the sidelines, and to be that perfect broadcaster or newscaster, if you will, for America. And obviously my path didn't, or I wasn't able to take that path. I never really made it in sports at all, but I was given all of these other opportunities. And the first time that I got excited on air, and I let my Alabama fly, if you will, and I kind of, became more and more of myself, of my true self, whether it was, saying things my grandmother taught me, or, just being a bit of a hillbilly. The producers came to me and they were like, we need more of that. And I was like, oh, I thought I had done something wrong, right? I thought I was in trouble. And they were like, no. Reality TV is very different. And this is not scripted. So this is very much about you being the character. So the more, you can bring out your true self, the more that you can be yourself in front of the camera and, talk to people as if they are your best friends and, with excitement and all of my normal like mannerisms, the better it's going to be for everybody. So my big lesson was that, it was not advantageous for me to be vanilla and for you not to know where I came from and for you not to know what ethnicity I might be and for me to be like this, basic pile of goop with good hair and lipstick. It was better for me to really, really be myself so that I could give something to the audience that they could choose to like, love, or not care about. But because that's the other big lesson, right? So a third of the people are going to love you, a third of the people are going to hate you, and a third of the people are not going to give two poo-poos who you are. So you just need to stay focused on the third that have responded and reacted to you in a positive way. And so that's it.
I love that. And that authenticity is what people connect with, isn't it? That's what they want to see. And I have to share a funny story with you, Andy, because many of my friends who live in the southern parts of America, I have this joke with them that my inner voice is actually a black southern lady.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and so when I crack that out, they're kind of like, where have you been?
Yeah, like who's taken over your body?
Yeah, and so I'm sure you and I could sit down one day and it would just flow effortlessly.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Now,
so do you know where your inner lady is? Is she from Alabama? Is she from Mississippi? Is she from Texas, Tennessee? These are all very different accents. But
look, I'm not 100% sure. Okay. My gut feel is Mississippi, around that area somewhere. Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah, she's a bit loose, but anyway.
Awesome. I love that. Have you ever been to the States?
I have, yes. Yes. Not down south.
Have you visited the South?
No, not yet. Not yet. Have many friends down there, but yes, I will get there one day.
I hope so. You should start in New Orleans.
Oh, I would love to. Absolutely would love to. And no doubt we will catch up there one day. But I want to talk to you about beauty because, nowadays people are reaching for Botox injections, things like that. This is stuff that you're steering away from in terms of beauty. And beauty on a budget. How are you doing that?
Well, one of the things that I engage in, and it seems a little woo-woo, but I'm just going to be really honest. I engage in red light therapy.
I love it.
I take a lot of vitamins, like literally a lot of vitamins. I am currently doing NAD vitamins as well.
Yep.
I don't inject it, but which a lot of people say is the only way to do it. But I do take it in pill form. I do red light therapy and the rest is just lotions and potions and creams and everything else I can. But, I am no stranger to the injections. So I would love to tell you that I have not done that, but I have. I especially worry about the lines here, but I have found this is the truth. So if I can, get, around a Botox or whatever, what I find is it calms everything down. And then I do my red light therapy at least 5 days a week. And that totally makes a difference. Yeah. So what red light therapy has done for me is it has allowed me to stretch the amount of time that I need before I feel like it's gotten to a point where I can't do it anymore. But I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not afraid of, the injections, but I do definitely spread the time out. And so I know people who can't even get, 90 days out of, some Botox now. And now I can go like a year.
Wow.
So the red light therapy makes a huge difference in your lines. And so it's one of those things. And it drew me to this particular project because Deception Beauty actually introduced a red light therapy wand. And it's completely portable. And I thought, well, that's amazing. And it's a good place for people to start if they're interested. Now, what do you know about red light therapy?
Well, I've actually got a little red light facial massager that I use. And it's got a couple of lotions and stuff. But I do use that. And it just makes such a difference. Like your skin feels tighter, and as we age, our skin does thin. And also, I'd lost a lot of weight, so I had this loose skin, and I'm like, come on, let's get back up there, So it's really like trying to defy gravity a little bit. But I have noticed when I use it that the fine lines go, and you just look a little bit tighter in the face. So yeah, I do really like it, and I do also do infrared saunas as well.
Which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
And they're learning that really what is happening is the epidermis is basically being penetrated, and it's all about cellular renewal. And the truth is cellular renewal takes place on every level. So they're finding that it grows your hair, that it helps with joints and stiffness. So it's not just, really creating cellular, improvements in your face. It can actually improve your body all over, which is why there are now red light therapy beds that you can get into, just like a tanning bed, and, do that for your whole body. So that is probably one of the biggest things. But, red light therapy was extremely expensive. And like the Deceptor, which is the red light therapy wand that was developed on, General Hospital, is like, I want to think there's a coupon on the website right now that it's like not even $80, or maybe not even, it's for what it is, it's extremely effective and very inexpensive.
Yeah, and it's such a natural way to do it too, without being too invasive. I think it's really great. Now, for people listening who want to turn back the clock, the years are speeding by, the fine lines are coming in. How can we start to turn back the clock and make ourselves look a little bit younger, aside from red light therapy?
Aside from so the other thing that I think that we all underestimate is that we have to maintain and update our cosmetic routine. I actually think that as women, we are so fortunate that we have so many tools at our disposal. I mean, I have had, lots of arguments that probably hair color is one of the most revolutionary things that ever happened to women, right? Because if we want to, we can, completely eliminate gray from our hair if we want to. Not every woman does, but for literally $10, we can talk about turning back the hands of time. We can, in our own bathroom.
Yeah.
So, but what happens is, we all tend to learn about cosmetics in our teens when we start to experiment, and maybe in your 20s, you get a little better and you perfect your look. But the truth is, as we age and things start to shift and change, we need to update those skills. So for very little money and very little effort, you can give yourself kind of like an immediate facelift with, different applications, having better tools. So it doesn't have to be expensive, but there are lots of ways that we can naturally give ourselves a boost and make ourselves appear much more youthful, which is it's the whole goal. I mean, deception cosmetics is just that. It's about deceiving you into thinking that you are ultimately younger than you are.
And contouring nowadays, that alone, that stuff can do magic. And I know for a lot of us who are now reaching our 50s, it's like you've said, we started with makeup in our teens, and we sort of get into a routine and we don't change anything. We're like, no, this is what I like. And then you do need to update it, don't you? Because your face does change.
Yeah. And the truth is we get stuck in every way. I mean, we tend to get stuck at a time in life when we felt the most celebrated, we felt the most successful, the most loved, we just ultimately felt our best. And whether it was an outfit that we got 20 compliments on, that now we continue to shop for that outfit over and over and over again, or we just, peaked and we felt the most powerful and we felt the most beautiful, and we tend to try and recreate that look over and over and over. So it is a natural thing, but I'm just telling you that the number one way to appear younger is to change up your cosmetic routine, to stay, on top of things. And, the number one way to be younger is to stay curious. And the minute that you think you know everything, and the minute that you think you've got it down, is the minute that you are aging yourself.
Yes.
And you are proving that you're not growing. So it's really applicable to so many areas of your life.
And I think also beauty starts within, doesn't it, Andy? Because like you're taking great care of yourself with all the vitamins and all that kind of stuff, and being hydrated and eating well, and nutrition, that's a big part of it too, isn't it? Because what you do on the inside reflects on the outside.
It's true, but Bendy, I do love my Reese's peanut butter cups. I love them so much.
Don't we
just
all?
had Halloween. Oh my gosh. And I had like a sack of candy. I was like, oh, why do I buy this? And I mean, I never get like trick-or-treaters, but the big bag, anyway. So it's hard for me to be like, oh yes, I'm so good at eating well and taking good care of myself when I've literally just eaten a whole bag of Halloween candy over the past 2 weeks. So I just need to confess.
And I think that's refreshing for someone like you to admit that, because most people would think you wouldn't do that.
Oh, yeah, I do love the Reese's peanut butter cups. It's so bad. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, yes, ma'am. I'm a protein and a veggie kind of girl, and I, try to stay away from carbs. But the past 2 weeks I have been bad.
Now, you're a bit of an inventor as well. You've had a couple of beauty inventions or I guess handy inventions that you've been a part of. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so thank you for asking. I actually invented the Girly Go Garter, which is a hands-free purse that you wear on your leg. And I invented it out of necessity. Coming from a reality show background, for the most part, I was always in a dress. And when you have a dress on, the audio people struggle with where they're going to put a transmitter pack.
Yeah.
And most of the time that is hung on the back of a bra. So you can see them sometimes when you see people on TV. And, after wearing a transmitter, sometimes two, for, hours and hours and hours a day and days on end, I started to get water blisters, and it just was driving me insane. And so I asked if there was anything I could wear on my leg. And I was basically told, there's a few things and we'll try, but if I moved too much or I got hot and sweaty, it was just a pocket on a piece of elastic and it would come right down. So I had the idea, the genesis, if you will, for the Girly Go Garter while I was working on 10 Years Younger, which was a show that I did where I helped women look 10 years younger. And I was like 5 days away from going back to start filming the next season of that show. And I was in a really difficult accident. I was cliff diving and I missed the water and I cut off my right foot.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was bad. So I changed my entire life changed in like 3 seconds. So suffice it to say, I grabbed my foot and, I, of course, was at the hospital. The first hospital didn't think they could put my foot back on. The second hospital was like, okay, we'll try. And I just had it out with God, Bendy. I was so angry. I was like in this morphine haze. And I was like, I've been a good girl. I'm at the top of my game. I can't believe that this would happen to me. And, I had a peace come over me, and I just got a very clear message that I was supposed to bring this product to life. And so within, a few days actually of my last surgery, within 2 weeks, I was, feverishly working in the hospital, trying to figure out if I could never walk again, how I could develop this product, how I could raise money. How do you get a patent? Like, where do I start? So I just feverishly started figuring everything out from my hospital bed. I actually went to Asia with, on crutches to try and follow leads and try to figure it out. And I did, I brought it to market. And so the Girly Go Garter, I'm very grateful that I had great legal counsel who were like, well, this is a great idea for, studio services and movies and television, but what about those people who are insulin dependent and need a place to put their pump? Or what about women who, you can't lug a purse down the aisle on wedding day, or so many schools say you can't even bring a purse to prom, and you can't take a purse now to a stadium. And, there's so many things. Like when you travel, do you really want to leave your passport in the room? Maybe you want a place to conceal it. So at its highest, we were in over 6,000 stores worldwide.
Wow.
We, of course, really struggled with COVID. But there has never been a day since the very first that we have not sold a Girly Go Garter somewhere in the world. And I'm very, very proud of it. And it has changed people's lives. I know that it's the number one product for for those who are insulin dependent, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that I did was self-taught, and I figured it out, and I've got an amazing staff and a legacy on that whole side of my business that, run that, which brings me a great deal of pride and happiness to know that, God kind of gave me that idea. And until I could figure out, what else was going to happen in my life, it was a wonderful place for me to put my intention, my love, my dedication, and for me to learn from.
Wow. Can I just say, wow, like what an incredible human you are. And to actually create that to help so many people in so many situations. And you actually reminded me of, I think it was Janet Jackson recently has had like her outfits rebuilt to put the mic packs in. Like, and you can see them like on the side of the leg. I was like, that's pretty cool. So you're onto something.
Yeah. Well, imagine if you're not fortunate enough to have the costumers that she does.
Exactly.
The gripper actually allows you to carry up to 3 pounds. And
wow.
so, whether it's concealed carry, it doesn't matter. It'll carry your money, your ID, your lipstick, your cell phone, your everything. So the pockets, they're lock flap pockets, and they're also easy access pockets. So, I worked really hard to try and have it be a solution for all sorts of women.
I absolutely love that idea. That's so cool. Now, Andy, you did mention earlier your book. Can you give us a quick plug on that?
Yeah, you're so sweet to do this. Yes, of course. So, I think I kind of mentioned to you that I come from the South. I'm from Alabama. And, my grandparents pretty much influenced my life the most. And my grandmother was a master sewer. And I could literally tear something out of a magazine, and within a week I would have a replica. She was amazing in that way. And she was very determined that I recognize and understand that the way that I presented myself to the world would ultimately dictate first impressions. It would dictate how people treated me. And there was implied value in how I, showed up. And so even if we didn't have a lot of means, that didn't mean that I was going to be treated as less than. And she basically showed me how to do that through my wardrobe. And so, I'm sure you probably read, I'm a high school dropout. So at 17, I dropped out of high school and I moved to New York. And I, I'm really fortunate. God made me tall. I was 5'11" by the time I was 10 years old. So I started working in New York in this, glamorous kind of high-powered environment where it was very clear to me that I really needed to be able to be deceiving, if you will, right?
Yeah.
I didn't want people to kind of know that I was this, barefoot girl from, Alabama. So I took those skills of my grandmother. I honed the skills of what I should invest in, how I needed to really formulate my wardrobe, build my closet, do all of that so that I could use my wardrobe in a way to empower me, to give me confidence, to make me feel better in any situation, and to ultimately help me achieve my dreams and, walk into any room knowing that I, was not less than, that I was presenting well. And so when I started doing reality television and being a makeover, person, a beauty and style expert on TV, I, of course, started to share all those tips. And so it was just a matter of time before the producers were like, you should really put all this together in a book. And so my book is about, building that wardrobe that's going to fortify you. And again, is going to give you that confidence boost and help it be kind of your superhero cape if you need your wardrobe to be. But what I've learned is that most of us only utilize about 20 to 30% of our wardrobe.
I know.
And so I have learned in working with clients and people, in front of the camera and behind the camera, that what is hanging in your closet, it can often be a lot of failure. Things that you can't fit into anymore, wasted money, the person that you're not anymore, just a lot of uncomfortable things that we have to overcome. And so most of us go into our closet and we just pull out the same thing over and over, because we don't want to deal with, everything that's hanging there. So I take you through that process. How are you going to clean out your closet? Are we going to, create piles? We have a donate, a recreate, a contemplate, and a fits me great. We are going to redo your foundation garments. We're going to build a wardrobe that ultimately is, again, going to empower you and fortify you so that you can really achieve your goals. And so my book is the culmination of all of that. And it is a step-by-step guide to feeling better and ultimately living the life that, your soul kind of intended. If I could share a quote from Rhonda Britton.
That is so cool. And you're not going to believe this, Andy, but when I did the laundry this morning, I actually have a huge pile of clothes sitting on my bed right now that are going to be donated. Like I'm literally doing an M&M and cleaning out my closet today. That is my goal for today. So
I love that.
Yes.
You'll feel so much better. I mean, if every time you open your closet, everything in there fits me great. And that, it's things that look fantastic on you and you don't have to question it. You don't have to feel uncomfortable. Then trust me, that is, it's a time saver. It saves so much in mental capacity. I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. I'm happy to hear you're doing it.
So, yes, that's my goal for today. So it's just ironic that you said that because that's today's goal. Now, Andy, if people are listening and they want to learn more about you and they want to get in touch, where can they go?
Well, of course, you can go to andypaige.com, which is ANDYPAIGE.com. And then, of course, the Girly Go Garter, which is thegirlygogarter.com. And then all of the things that we have developed at shophomeandheart.com, I'm so proud of. So I encourage everyone, especially, General Hospital fans, to go to shophomeandheart.com as well.
Amazing. Now, I got the last big question for you, and I can't wait to hear what your answer is. What's the change you'd like to see in the world, and how can we bring it to life?
I can tell you without a doubt, there's two things. I mentioned it earlier. I think that we should be far more curious. I think we should be, that if you follow your curiosities, that you will naturally have a bigger life. We stunt ourselves in many ways. Curiosity is what leads to, growth on every single level. So that would be the first. I'd love to see people be far more curious. That would be awesome. And then I would love to get back to a point where we were all kind to each other. I think it's so easy to, walk around with a bad attitude, to walk around with kind of a puss on your face, and for us to commiserate, which is basically just a bitch fest. And I think if we could just be kind to each other and we could, ultimately stay more positive, that would change everything.
Oh, that's a whole vibe and energy in itself, isn't it? That could change the world in a minute, really, if we could just do more of that, couldn't we?
And it doesn't seem that hard, but we all tend to get on that wheel of negativity, and it's just, I don't know why it's so easy to go down that rabbit hole. But so I want people to come back up, to be kind and a little more curious.
Well, we can be everyone's reminder today, Andy. And thank you so much for being a part of the change and being with us on the Ethical Evolution.
It's my pleasure. I've had so much fun with you. You are fantastic.
Thanks for listening to the Ethical Evolution podcast. If you're ready to be the change and would love to work with me on finding your voice through spiritual coaching or creating your own podcast with impact, visit ethicalchangeagency.com. If you're enjoying the show, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's growing every day with great content and highlights you may not have heard on the podcast. In addition, please subscribe to the podcast on Spotify or Apple, and why not leave a 5-star review? If you're not following me on social media, you can find me at Ethical Change Agency on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube, and at DJ Bindi on TikTok and Instagram.
Hi, I'm Sherilyn Fenn from Twin Peaks. What did you do on your last Saturday night?
Did you hear something?
Toilet paper.
There's none. Nada. The reserves have gone dry. People are hoarding it. I should have done that.
They're all out of hand sanitizer at my Target.
Mark, when did you last watch the news?
We are getting reports of forced quarantines in China, Japan, and now Italy.
You're cutting onions in half and putting them around your apartment.
Yes, exactly. It kills the COVID.
Excuse me?
Let's go. Let's go. Get in.
Vamos, rápido.
Have you ever driven one of these?
Never.
I'll drive, ladies.
I've got the keys.
Excuse me, I'm lost. I'm looking for my wife. I got turned around.
Join me, Eric Roberts, Jennifer Elise Cox, and Ed Asner for The Last Saturday Night, an Electrocast podcast. You'll love it.
Electricast.
Everyone has heard about the U.S. space program, but what is actually going on at NASA? Get the real story in 4 minutes or less with the NASA Daily podcast from Electricast. Join astronauts and researchers as they conduct groundbreaking experiments, work on the International Space Station, and reach for the stars. NASA Daily, your cosmic update.
Electricast. Electricast.